All right, so in this video, I'm going to riff off of the fact that I've spent $100,000 on coaches, mentors, and different types of courses. And what exactly did I even learn from all these different sort of investments that I've made over the last, give or take, 5 years, right? So on average, I've been spending about $20,000 a year on, on mentorships. And I easily could have spent that money on anything else. It could have been in investments. It could have been in the stock market. It could have been in real estate. It could have been in any other facet. But I guess one of the biggest questions that I'll answer right off the rip is like, was it worth it? I think that's a fool's question to ask, right? Because there's a quote from Alex Hormozy that says there's the S&P 500 and then there's the S&Me 500. So my personal belief is that the best money that you can actually invest anywhere is in yourself. The reason being is because at the end of the day, what is your hedge against inflation, the freaking economy, AI, or like all these other things that are coming for your job or, can put you out of the marketplace or all these other things that are outside of your control? What is the one thing that you do have control over? And that is your knowledge. That is what you know and the skill sets that you have, right? Because at the end of the day, you could freaking strip me and drop me butt naked in the middle of freaking India. But if I had a fucking laptop, a phone, and a Wi-Fi connection, I'll be back up and running with the business in less than 90 days, right? So the most important factor that you have to consider when investing into your own knowledge is to not look at mentorships and not look at buying into expertise as a expense. Everything that you buy that's information or, tactics, strategies to help you build a business or to help you, grow in any sort of facet of your life, it's definitely worth it because the knowledge that you gain afterwards is like something that you can carry on for the rest of your life. Because one of the best analogies that I've had is like from Russell Brunson when I went to one of his live events recently, which is called Funnel Hacking Live. And so he positioned his offer in a way where if you learned from Russell Brunson on how to do webinar sales, how to drive traffic, how to position your offer, create a level 10 offer and sell it, you invest $10,000 once and you then have the skill set to sell something for $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 over and over and over and over and over again. Like who the heck wouldn't take that deal, right? And so every time I've invested into myself or into my own like knowledge or into my own skill set, I've always leveled up, bro. Like the crazy thing that you could really think about is how is value essentially generated in general? How is somebody going to exchange you their hard-earned money to actually buy something that you can actually provide a solution to? And that is you having the right skills that can solve a big enough problem for that individual to actually go ahead and then exchange you money for solving that problem, right? So the more skills that you could stack, the better, because fundamentally, if you can have a better toolkit and a better skill set that can solve a multitude of problems, you're always going to be relevant, right? That's the most important thing as a young man or as a individual that's starting out in business or looking to become somebody that is independent, free, or has control over their life and can do whatever they want, whenever they want, go wherever they want. It is freaking all down to your skill set, who you are as an individual, right? And so if you can develop your skill set, that's more than anything else. And so to give you some context of like what I've learned skill set wise, like my top 5 skills that I've personally have learned and internalized over the last 5 years is sales, the ability to be able to communicate and be able to convey value, the ability to actually be able to go ahead and convince or persuade people into believing the thoughts that I want to give them, right? Sales is huge. It helps you not only in business, but it helps you with your relationships, helps you understand yourself a bit more, and actually helps you navigate life better. Sales is just being a better communicator in general. Number 2 is marketing. Marketing, being able to generate demand for any sort of product that you have. I don't care what it is, bro. Whether you sell a service or a product, if you know how to get people's attention, like I'm doing right now, being able to nurture that attention and create a relationship with that attention and then be able to go ahead and convert the attention, that in itself is a multi-million-dollar skill set. So those two paired together is freaking lethal, right? And then number 3 is being able to create offers, right? Offers is a very essential tool because if you're able to create a service or a product that solves a problem for somebody, people will pay you in relation to how big that problem is that you solved. So being able to create offers literally out of thin air, like I can create something out of my imagination that's worth thousands of freaking dollars to somebody because I know how to. I obviously have a pre-existing skill set, but on top of that, I know how to package and position, kind of like how I mentioned to you earlier, like Russell Brunson, on how to make something seem so valuable that the price in comparison seems like a bigger trade-off than not actually buying the service or the product, right? So if you can create an offer and a product, you know how to market it, you know how to sell it, bro, like that's mainly what you need. But if you can add on the last two that I'm about to mention to you, which is being able to hire people and train and manage a team, whoo, you just add a gasoline onto the fire, right? Because in the beginning, you're the one that's doing the selling, you're the one that's doing the marketing, you're the one that's creating the offer, right? But then once you can train and manage a team, you can then train other people, get that skill set into another person, train them up so that they can do the same thing that you do. And then therefore you delegate and you can buy back your time, right? So most importantly, that is your most valuable asset as a young entrepreneur is your time. And if you have your own skill set that's valuable, you can duplicate your skill set. So when you get to the point where you've mastered the basics and the fundamentals, which is sales, marketing, and offer creation, at least in the consulting world and the consulting business model, you can actually go ahead and then duplicate that skill set into somebody else. And now you've created leverage in other people, right? And number 5 is being able to create systems and being able to automate like certain things within your business, right? So being a systematic based thinker, like your biggest thing is being able to take action, collect feedback, and then analyze the feedback and then improve what your inputs are. So therefore, for example, when I post content, I have a system that's put in place to track every single one of the pieces of content, what resonates the most, what doesn't resonate the most, and the views and each and every single iteration that I make into the content, how it gets improved. Well, the same thing goes for sales, right? If I'm going through my sales process, I'm looking at what objections did I get? What came up in a sales call that, people, don't understand when I'm pitching them or like giving them a rundown of my service, and I'm collecting that feedback and building a system out of it so I don't have to make the same mistakes twice. Making the same mistake twice in general is just a rule of thumb as a young man that you want to go ahead and avoid at all costs. Make the mistake once, learn from it, and then grow from it, right? That was something that took me a very long time to go ahead and actually learn. But if you can stack all 5 of those together, you actually have the foundation of building a $1 million business, right? So I spent $100,000 to learn all that shit. I spent 5 years of my time eating shit, right? To actually go ahead and learn that over time. So in the beginning, like just focus on one of the skills, whether that's sales or marketing. Go all in on one of those skill sets and start skill stacking. Skill stacking is the most exponential thing that you can do because it's not linear. When you like stack on one skill set on top of the other, it's actually quadratic, right? So the amount of value that you are able to provide is massive. It's insane, right? So being able to have that skill set now, even though right now I may be starting a brand new business, and if you don't know about the context of my backstory, then go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. I have a whole vlog series that I'm doing right now documenting me building a brand new consulting business from complete scratch, utilizing my skill set, monetizing it, creating a brand new offer, and then going and selling it. So if you want to watch that, go check out my YouTube channel. But to bring that back to what I was talking about earlier, developing that skill set is your 401k. Your 401k as an entrepreneur, brother, is your brand, and number 2 is going to be your skill set. There's nothing else. And that's the cool thing though, right? Because you don't want to have your income tied to somebody's yes or no. You don't want your income tied to the economy. You don't want your income tied to a specific location. You don't want your income tied to a specific person, right? So in order to live the good life, which in my personal opinion is being able to work whenever you want, do the things that you love, and be able to work from anywhere, anytime, and make the egregious amount of money, well, that comes from having the right skill sets and being able to apply it to the right vehicle. So no matter what's going on in the marketplace, whether there's an economic boom, an economic recession, or there's AI coming into the marketplace and absolutely wrecking house and taking jobs, you are still a valuable individual. So your main focus is elevating your skill set to be more valuable than anybody else in the marketplace or the people that are around you. Okay. So on top of the skills, what else have I learned? Right. Well, I've learned after this point being able to invest $100,000 and now making $1 million, right? Like that $100,000 investment made me 10x return. I don't know where else over the span of 5 years you're actually going to see a 10x return, right? So there's very few things that can actually do that, but now it's like your skills age like fine wine, right? Like the more time you have in the arena, the marketplace, the better you're going to get at those skills. So the second thing that I've learned when developing my skill set is the fact that you can achieve anything that you want financially. Here's the financial formula, right? It is first be, do, have. There's a that comes straight out of Genesis, where God basically gives us the success formula right out the gate, right? Where I've learned throughout this entrepreneur journey, as you build a business, you'll learn that it's the biggest self-development journey that you could go on. Business at the end of the day is a personal development journey, brother. So in the beginning, you have to focus on recreating your identity. That's number one. And the other facet of that equation is identity plus the right vehicle equals financial success. Okay. So what does that mean? If you have one opportunity vehicle, let's say you work a 9 to 5, G, bro, I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how much value you deliver. There's a limited cap to how much you can essentially earn, right? Obviously you have different jobs depending on what it is, but majority of the time you're not dictating the amount of money that you can make in that 9 to 5, right? And I learned that when I actually worked at a Costco, which is a corporate company warehouse where I would clock in, clock out, and I couldn't make more money as quickly as I wanted to because somebody else had to stay on top of it, and I had the wrong vehicle. And I already knew that out the jump. So I knew that as soon as I started building my own business and I had a vehicle, right, that could actually produce me the results that I wanted. There's a great quote by Warren Buffett that says, it's not about how hard you row, it's about what boat you're in. Because motherfucker, I could show up every single day, put in 10, 12 hours a day. And that 10, 12 hours a day is only going to get me so far. But if I put that same 10, 12 hours a day towards a better vehicle, brother, you have a lot more outcome from that input that you have, right? So you can pick your heart, dude. Like you either bust your ass at a 9 to 5 or bust your ass at a job, or you bust your ass for yourself. And yeah, you might eat shit for a little while, but over time, you're actually going to be able to produce the result. And number two is the identity, right? I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today where when I had success, I didn't have success until I understood that even if I have the right vehicle, you could have the right vehicle right now. You could be running an agency. You could be running some sort of online service-based business that has the potential to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, $1 million a month, like other people are like doing right now with the same exact business model that you have. But the difference between you and them is one of two things. They either know something that you don't know, okay, or they've been doing it longer than you have. So when you fundamentally understand that those are the two constraints, right? You have to understand that your identity with the right vehicle over a long enough time horizon is going to actually help you produce the financial success that you want. And I learned that explicitly when I actually was able to make my first $10,000 months, right? Because I at the time was working part-time and then running my agency on the side, and I wasn't ever able to like grow it past like $1,000, $2,000 a month, right? And the reason why is because I wasn't the type of person that was worthy of the success that I wanted, right? And so it didn't happen until I quit my job. And number two, I did the internal work that was necessary in order to produce the internal state that would produce the external state, right? So let me repeat that so you can capture it, right? It's your internal state. Your external is just a reflection of your internal state, meaning you first have to work on yourself, work on your identity, the way you see yourself, your character traits, your the way that you see yourself, the way that you operate, the way that you think, and your state of being. You have to work on that harder first. And if you pair it with the right vehicle, then the success will become very imminent, right? Like it's just going to happen no matter what, because the mind, whatever you can conceive, you can achieve, right? Because when you think of something, you essentially have created that image in your head. And the thing about God, when he made us, is he gave us a specific part of his creativity through us, right? So you have a specific God-given talent, a specific God-given purpose that only you can fulfill. Vice versa, or anybody else in this world, you have the ability to go ahead and create anything that it is that you ever want in your life. So the car that you want, the girl that you want, the money that you want, the life that you want is all possible, right? But the thing is, you have to act in accordance with that person that you want to be that has the results. Okay. So let me break this down for you. So if you can create this image or this identity, right, you have to first be, right? You have to be this person first. You have to fundamentally believe that you're this person. You have to experience the life as if it was real, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and your own imagination, right? That's how powerful your mind is. So if you can create this identity of who it is that has the results that you want in your life, right? That already has the car, the money, the location, the results that you want. The only thing that you have to do when you already think of that, and just visualize, you could think of it. Somebody who already has the physique and all those things, there's an image that's coming to your head as I say this, because now that identity exists on a specific wavelength and a specific frequency. You just created that thought process, right? And so the only thing that's separating you from this current state and the state that you want to be in is just time. So when you start believing and you start acting in accordance with who it is that you need to be in order to have the results, over time, you're going to end up getting into congruency with what it is that you want. So that's one of the things that I've taken into heart, where it's like, it's not if I'm going to be rich. I already know for a fact that I'm going to be rich, right? It's just a matter of time as I continuously act in accordance to the person that is required for me to have the success that I want, that time will catch up. So that's a whole other trip. That's one of the most fundamental things that I've learned over this time, because as I've invested into mentors, I look back and I'm like, okay, I like this about this guy, this, that. Okay, cool. Let me grab bits and pieces of each and every single one of them so that I can take the good, leave the bad, and then recreate my identity that's more in accordance with who it is that I want to be. So every time you invest and look for mentors, you just want to find people that fundamentally have certain things that maybe you don't have or you admire about them, and you go ahead and acquire them. So find what you admire and go ahead and acquire, right? So that's really important that you learn that and you focus on working on yourself. That goes back to developing a skill set. If you don't have any skills, guess what? You have no value to provide as a man to the world. And your whole livelihood, your whole life is based off how much value you could provide, bro. So make sure that you increase it. And if you're not increasing it, well, then you're going to stay stuck. So don't ask me why you don't grow after watching this video if you don't develop yourself and continue pouring into yourself. The last and third facet of this whole equation is understanding that you have to learn and chase principles. Okay. Too long of this entire journey did I go to mentors and specific teachers and thought, hey, maybe you have this silver bullet to growing my business or to helping me grow as an individual. That is far from the truth. Okay. After spending $100,000, nobody has a silver bullet. There's no such thing as a silver bullet when it comes to business and life, because there's a million ways to solve one problem. So their solution, the way that they got to where they're at, is not necessarily going to be the one core solution that's going to get me to where I want to go, right? Because their solution may have worked for them, but it's not going to work for me. So if I can understand the principles of what it is that they learned and how they applied it to their situation, right? I can understand why something works and then apply it to my situation, right? So I used to think that when it came to running a business, I needed to have like a specific outreach method or strategy or tactic, right? But little did I know, once I understood the principle of how to convert somebody into a customer from a complete stranger, was I able to apply that strategy or that principle into my life to be able to produce the result that I wanted, right? And that happens in every single other facet of life. So God made absolute, there's something that's true and then something that is a truth. When something is true, two things can be true at once. When it's a truth, it's black and white, right? So principles are truths, absolute truths. And the world operates based off of principalities, right? And these rules. And we're all governed by the same principles in life. So the more you can pursue principles and understand and seek mentors and teachers that teach principles, those are the ones that you want to spend your time actually learning from. It's not all stay away from the flashy stuff. Stay away from the stuff that's very worldly, because God's trying to bring certain people into your life so that you can learn the life principles, the blueprint, the playbook that He already printed out. And if you want to read it, go read the Bible, dog. So that has the scripture has a lot of life principles in there that I promise you, if you read books like Psalms or you just go through the New Testament, like there's a lot of life principles that you can learn from that that applies to business. So to conclude everything that I mentioned to you, was spending $100,000 in mentorships worth it? 100%, bro. And the thing is because I'm the type of person always getting an ROI and I'm a fucking winner, right? And now, like I said, even if I go fucking dead broke and I don't have money and I don't have something to fall back on, I know that I can fall back onto my skill set, because you can take away the business from the man, but you can never take the skill set away from the man, right? So it's like one of those classic sayings where it's like you could take the boy out of the hood, but you never take the hood out of the boy. You know what I'm saying? So like once you have that shit, it's with you for life, right? So it's the best thing that you can spend your time, effort, and energy on. So if you're in that season of not, if you're not making the money that you don't have the physique that you want, you don't think the way that you want, brother, you need to go and spend that time to develop yourself. You could either go through, like I said, free YouTube University. That's where I started when I didn't have any money. I just learned from specific mentors. But over time, you want to find somebody, and whether that is through a relationship, that's honestly like the cheapest way to do it, is building a relationship. But if you don't provide value, it's going to be hard for you to attract that unless God puts that person into your life. But if you have the save up money and go and invest and learn skills, that's, I promise you, the best use of your time. And I would never, ever, 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 dude, if you could give me $10 million worth of real estate right now, or but you took away what the fuck I knew right now, I would be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I would never take that because I know how much value is in my current skill set. So fundamentally, chase principles, not tactics. You need the right identity and you need the right vehicle. If you have questions about the right vehicle, comment down below or go check out my page and I can show you how to develop the right skills to actually go ahead and monetize it and build a business that's, what I did and how I made my first million. So go ahead and have the right identity, work on yourself, become a better, higher level person by investing into other people, by learning from people that you want to be like. And then make sure you have the right vehicle, meaning you have the right business model or something that aligns with your, natural inclinations. And then on top of that, make sure that you develop your kill set. I call it a kill set. I have a fucking kill set, right? So make sure you stack as many fucking skills as humanly possible, so you are the most competent, the most valuable person that walks into any single room. And I promise you, you will never be broke again.